per se impressed on how fast he was able to tell a story. Kendrick. If you know Kendrick and you know his standard, I think that the standard is the standard when it comes to Kendrick, and I think that was like the only thing. Of course, Kendrick breath control is on 10. He already said he runs 6 miles. He already tell you what he do, and his rap is not up for discussion. The man outside is doing push-ups on the ground, like for what we as Kendrick fans know Kendrick to be. Okay. Um, Another thing would be how he was able to just do smooth transitions. I didn't see him mess up. Now everybody are talking about his K-Dot Angels and everything like that online. Kendrick really did what he set out to do, is to tell a story and tell people that you cannot fake influence with 40 acres and a mule. And he did it with a sitting president in the house. What can you say about that? Can't nobody say that about that. With the first sitting president in the house of the Super Bowl and delivering an amazing performance. Like, can't nobody else do that? With 80 million views on the NFL channel looking at the Super Bowl. Crazy work. Anyway, Kendrick, you my dog. It's always up for here. I've been in the comment section, down. Threads, I don't have a Twitter. So Threads and Instagram is where I've been at on these people. Oh, and Facebook. Let me not leave out Facebook. Facebook ain't they're getting into it, but they won't get into it. But Threads and Instagram is holding, and TikTok. Threads, Instagram, and TikTok, Kendrick is holding you down. Holding you down. I can't say about Twitter. I don't know nothing about Twitter. But they're holding you down over there, okay? I'm holding you down to them all in the comment section. Starting my own threads, getting remarks, comments, all of that. Kendrick, you did such an amazing job. All right. To our next topic, y'all. Let's talk about all these planes keep flying. Another plane just went down today. What was it? I think like a plane almost collided into another plane with the wing. Anyway, what I think this is a setup is for Tesla Airlines. I think that Elon Musk is trying to get the FAA, and I think that he's trying to start Tesla Airlines. Elon trying to be like Jeff Bezos on 100. He got the cars. Next thing you know, Elon gonna be delivering mail. He gonna be delivering the AI robots. He just think he Amazon. He just think he big Jeff. He think he big Jeff for real. Y'all, this is crazy work. He over there taking over Doge. Federal people losing their jobs left and right. The federal government, from what we know it to be, was one of the most safest places you could have a job at. That you can guarantee stability once you're in the government, once you pass your probationary period, and it gave you a good 20 years in the government. It was a tight ship in the government. Whether you were for the IRS, the CIA, DOD, wherever you worked for, it was a guarantee that you were going to keep your job. And now, the world as we know it, nobody's keeping a job. So I'm just blessed to know that I still have a job every day when I wake up, or every hour that I'm at work sending off emails that I still have a job. So I work. Anyway, I don't even want Elon to know where I work at, so he won't get no bright ideas about, hell, cutting off my job or the people that had my job. Anyway, anyway, another topic we want to talk about today is trades. Let's get it started, y'all. So the Joe Budden podcast on the Patreon. I'm a Patroni. Woo woo. I'm on the $10 tier of the Patroni, but I am a Patroni. Like Joe always say, if this is between this and this, I don't want you to get the membership between feeding your kids. I want you to know, hey, Joe be cracking up on the 9 to 5 people, but it just be so funny. Like, you take it serious, you crazy. But I am patroning on the 9 to 5. But hell, if Elon cut my job, I won't be no patroning. So Joe, we gotta do something. But they were talking about people in the podcast space being traded. So who can be traded for who? And they were just saying, really getting port mines over there to the JBP, trading Charlemagne, trading Joe Rogan, trading Cameron Mays, trading Jeff T, trading people. Like it was just so crazy, this type of trade. And even with like Lauren LaRosa, like trading her and Gina Views too. This just means that when you talk about a trading people, this means that you have built some sort of validity and some sort of equity on the platform that you are using or that you have built. But also other people notice your work and your due diligence and how well you relay a message as well. So it got me to thinking, will I ever be in those conversations with those amazing people in the way that they podcast? Maybe not. But it does give me something to look for, because as people explain, you really don't understand the scope of podcasting or being on a panel with different people. I mean, I haven't even had that luxury yet to be on a panel with different people. So to understand how to fit in within a cast of certain personalities and to just stay true to who you are and able to deliver a message, and able to go into breakdowns and bring it to a lower level of just giving it to the common person based on what you know. And I think that on the Joe Budden podcast gave a lot of insight to what people are looking for, to why they pick those type of people, and how all ecosystems kind of mesh to make what we see a good podcasting or good blogs or good just channels, period, are the type of people that they put them up there with. So for me, I think I'm gonna watch that Patreon over 2 or 3 more times. I'm going to take notes. And I'm not saying that I have to be just like everybody else. But however, I do, when I come up here and give you guys a video, I do want to give you guys great sources. Not just great, but credible sources. In the world that we are in today, is a person like an AP News a credible source? Maybe, potentially not, right? But they are official news publication, right? So it's certain places, or now where if you are in certain sectors, and I'm getting my news from, where this came from the Black Breakfast Club. This actually came from the JBP, Joe Budden podcast. This actually came from IE Academics. This actually came from IE The Bigger Picture, Elliot Wilson, DJ Head, Jeremy Head. So maybe our sources we deem critical because that's who we listen to, versus maybe main news cycles, as we just see it, what happened with Miss Joy Reid and why we listen to Miss MSNBC, and listening to her. And if she's not on, we can't give a credible source because we don't watch other people on that network potentially. So, I think that that's where we are falling at now, and to understand that what we deem as a credible and valuable source can ultimately impact your business, but it can also help you into just gaining more insight about how other people think, and why are things pandering this way and why they are not, and why are we able to be in those spaces and why we aren't. So I'm just very happy to know that just on my new YouTube journey, I do want to deliver well thought out news. I do want to give you credible sources. And I also want to deliver the news to you, whether you think it may be funny, whether it's important that maybe I should put funny to the side but still deliver this message. Um, I, I mean, but just being creative and how I give it and how I send the message, um, just doing everything that I can do to captivate an audience, whether I get one now or not. Maybe what I'm doing now may not be seen now, but maybe this will be seen 10 years later. Well, it's the information I'm putting out now. Will this age well? And I think that things that I learned from Kendrick that and others, but in the now it may not make sense. Like takes that Joe Budden made. It may not make sense in the now, but will this age well? So I think that to a nod, even to a sway, even with the Kanye thing, sway. What you got? Do you got an answer, sway? Like even with that, and sway had the answer, right? So just going through that, I think it's something that I want to lean in onto. Just looking at topics for the day. I want to start doing personal reviews of different people caught podcasts and what they talk about. I think that's fair too, because a lot of people are reviewers. How they started their channel. So it's some podcasts that I do listen to that I think is insightful, something that I'm in tune with that I want to listen to. But going back to the trades is what initially we're talking about is how can we gain enough stock up to where our voices are being heard, whether we got 1 view or 2 views. Is a person like Joe Budden clicking on a person YouTube channel that has 2 views and say, hey, yo, they smoked this segment about it, and he just could be captivated there, so I lean in and I take things like that, and I will be trying to make adjustments, going into doing more videos per se. um Another topic that I wanted to talk to you about was in music. Right now, I think a wrongful death lawsuit just came out on Lil Durk. Lil Durk is currently locked up in the feds right now. I think for like murder for hire or some stuff. Lil Durk got a whole lot of charges. I don't think he's seeing the daylight, to be honest with you. But that's just my personal opinion. But hey, if the prosecution make a technicality on something, I mean, the man could walk. We just don't know these days. We just don't know who could do what and what could do who. Okay. But right now they're circulating in the news. I have not had a chance to fully read up on it. I will. But I'll get back to it. Another thing is with Luigi Mignoni, the guy that they have posted for letting off the CEO guy of United Healthcare. So I have my handy dandy iPad where I'll be bringing you guys news with the news sources. So looking it up on, not everything as a child, right? Not everything on the internet is true. So we want to bring you guys sources. So right now, the update is for him to right now there's a motion that was filed by his attorney regarding his arrest. After almost 17 minutes of unlawful detention and interrogation, they finally read him his Miranda rights. So initially, he should be technically getting off because technically he should not be in custody, right? And in fact, he been in custody. It said he should not be in custody, but contrary to the law, he is. So Does it make sense? No. However, he's still locked up. And also, it said something about him, about them playing stuff in his backpack. First of all, let me tell y'all this. Now, this is where, if you're a podcaster, if you want to gain stock, this where you supposed to turn up at. Right here, y'all. First of all, I said that man didn't look like him when they first brought that man out on the helicopter, make him walk down there, the man yelling. The man in the photo that they took with the eyebrows, with the thick nose, with the face and the chin, they did not look like that man that they found sitting at that McDonald's. I feel like the police, the CIA, FBI, they did not do their job completely, and they did not get the right person to begin with. So because they didn't get the right person to begin with, now they got to make up this story. Yeah, I don't believe this bullshit for 1 second. Not for 1 second. I don't believe it. Because I just don't think that they had the right person to begin with. And I think that they did do this for the cameras. And I'm not saying that the guy did not lose his life, but I don't think that guy that they have in custody, that they are naming Luigi, is the actual person who really killed the CEO, United CEO healthcare guy. I don't personally think it. That's just my personal opinion. I'm not saying that the FBI or CIA or they're not doing their jobs. All I'm saying is that I don't believe that that's the guy. A lot of other people in America don't believe that's the guy. And I think that they are trying their best to let him off due to their mistake. Because I think potentially they might do have the right guy now. But they needed a news story within the next couple of 24 to 48 hours to say, hey, we found this guy based off our software, our techniques, our people on the ground, and what we pay these people for. I think they needed to tell the American people that, because the American people already feel like you guys aren't doing your guys' job. And we just think y'all just here to spout on the wrong shit. Period. So, prayers up to that man. Prayers up to the United CEO healthcare guy. Prayers that if it is on the technicality that he get off. We see it every day. We see people walk for murder cases. We see people walk for shoplifting cases. We see people walk for much less than that based off of technicality. So if it's technicality and it's wrong, y'all need to let that man off. Period. And I'm not saying it's right. But what I'm saying is that I understand if you guys made a wrong situation and it was messed up. Period. That's just where I'm at with it. That's just where I'm at. What else? What's going on here locally? I always like to give you guys some local news. Michael Vick, he is working hard, working diligently here. Not so many updates about him yet, but I think he's still picking staff. He's still getting coaches. I still think he's getting pairs due to the portal. I do believe that they are just doing their due diligence before the football season starts. I think around here it's not covered in big news. We haven't really heard of a big per se 5-star, 3-star recruit per se coming here to a HBCU per se, but that's local news. I want to touch on. Oh, another thing that is happening in local news right here is that actually it made it to spiritual world. So the guy that was in the smoke shack, basically it seemed like the guy tried to rob him and hope on. He's like boom, 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 and got both of them. They finally found out who he was, and they got him in police custody. A lot of people saying, "Hey, he just need a good lawyer. He need to get off in self-defense." Other people saying, "No, because of that second shot to the person that was already on the ground." might have not saved him from self-defense. However, I feel like he can argue and say that, hey, once I turned around and got him off me, I still had a second person right here that's an interest. So I had to get him first. This person that's laying on the ground, that don't mean that I did something to them. That just means that he's on the ground. He potentially could be pulling a gun out to try to get me. So in that moment in time, in those seconds of what you see as a video clip slowed down, of what a person in a mind could be thinking for 2 or 3 different ways and 2 or 3 different scenarios. So we will see who his legal team will be. I do think that if people really wanted to do something now, they could start to go for if people really think in self-defense of that man, that they think in self-defense, I think everybody deserves a good lawyer. And come to find out, the people didn't die. They were just in critical condition, and they seem to be stable now. So it's not really murder. Right? But I think people should start to go for me for him too. I think so. And we all saying, by watching the video, well, to some, not all. If some is saying that we are watching the video, and it's supposed to be for self-defense, y'all need to do like everybody else do. Start to go for me and get that man a good lawyer, so he can fight the good fight. Then, if a lot of people feel like it's self-defense, so I think we talked about music. We talked about day-to-day information. Did we even talk about sports? What's been going on in sports? Oh, today, WNBA GOAT Diana Taurasi has retired. I think this is fresh off the press, maybe not even 3 hours ago, within me talking about this. Yeah, in an exclusive interview with Time Magazine, WNBA star, 6-time Olympic gold medalist Diana Taurasi says she's retiring. So she's 42 years old, and I think from what I know Diana Taurasi to be now, a good person with the topic is my homegirl Sequoia. Now she can run down because she played women's basketball. She didn't play in the WNBA, but she was a good basketball player in college. So she can really give you the rundown. I mean, I've been watching sports as of lately, as far as like the women's WNBA. But Sequoia is really good at that. But I think it's sad to see a GOAT leave. This is on the same level of, if you want to say a Michael Jackson, a Michael Jordan, a Kobe Bryant, Diana Taurasi for WNBA. She was a 2-time Finals MVP, a 3-time EuroLeague MVP, and a 3-time Russian League Player of the Year. She's the GOAT, basically. So more like to her, I hope that she can transition over somewhat like the NFL players and the NBA players. I hope that she can transition over to potentially being an analyst. And just opening up those barter spaces for people like that within the WNBA, because it's not a lot. It's a lot of women commentators, right? But it's not a lot of women commentators in the WNBA. So I hope that just goes well for her, and congrats, Diana Taurasi. Well, you all, for today, after getting over the flu, I'm like 60% back. I just want to tell you guys, just thank you for another great episode of the 1914 podcast on the 1914 network. And once again, this is your girl, Deja Radcliffe. Follow my personal page, Deja Radcliffe 1 on YouTube. And follow, like, and subscribe here on the 1914 Network. So thank you all for watching and thank you all for joining. Bye! Hey guys! Welcome back to another episode of the 1914 podcast on the 1914 Network. And I am Deja Radcliffe. Please follow, like, and subscribe to the 1914 Network channel and also Deja Radcliffe 1 YouTube channel. That is my personal channel versus my podcast network channel. So follow there. So first things first. I have not delivered you all another video since I did my thoughts about Kendrick halftime performance. So my apologies, but I want to let y'all know what happened. So one, here in the 757 where I'm from, it snowed. So you have like 10.5 inches of snow. So no, this is not New York. This is not Chicago, any of those places. If it snow here, it's serious. Everything getting shut down. So 10.5 inches for us is a lot of snow. That's like scary hours. Like we only seen that type of snow within the last 20 years. So it's not common around here for us to even really get snow. And if we get snow, we take it serious. The state is taking it serious here. On top of that, I have to catch my breath because I'm also getting over the flu at the same time. So y'all, it's been a mess, but we're going to get right on in it. So our first topic of the day, if we're going straight into it, we're going straight into what's going on with MSNBC. They done let go Miss Joy Reid. They're letting go everybody over there at MSNBC. We as people, and shout out to Miss Meadows as well for just sticking up for Miss Reid. But let me tell y'all something. Miss Joy Reid is an exceptional journalist. She is someone who studies her work, does her due diligence to deliver a story, have an amazing and great staff to keep her on schedule. Miss Joy Reid, I think she has been working at MSNBC for 10 years, but I think she's been on stream and at her show with the readout for 3 years, I believe. But I know who Miss Joy Reid is because she's always been in the news for a news cycle or a news story, even before she started her own segment. And the reason why I know that is because one, let me tell y'all something. Your grandparents watch it. Your aunties watch it. If you grew up in a black household, let me tell y'all something. If you grew up in a black household, you knew what time the news come on, to what time your grandparents, your aunt, your uncle want to listen to the TV, and who segment it on and what they talk about, y'all. Who come on at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and 11 o'clock slot before they go to bed. Do you hear me? Had to be up early enough to watch the news segments in the morning if you had to go to school at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 9 o'clock. The news was on in your house daily in the black household. So do I know who Miss Joy Reid is? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And as I've gotten older, I've learned that I like journalists. I learned that I'm not saying that I want to become a journalist, but I do want to do my due diligence as far as research. I want to see who are sources, if they're considered to be credible sources, where I get my information from. And I want to also make sure that I deliver it to you in a way that you can understand it and without any mess ups. Considering that I don't have an on screen time, I can edit, I can do whatever as far as YouTube. But I wanted to make sure that I properly deliver you the message in its entirely and what it's about to make sure that I'm able to captivate my audience. Stay here and listen. So to someone who is, I wouldn't say grandfather, but grandmothered in her journalist expertise, Miss Joy Reid, we are here with you. We are supporting you. Going on that YouTube, going on wherever, even if you have to link with the Don Lemons of the world, the Mark Lamont Hills of the world. Miss Joy, we are here and we are following you. So congratulations for just holding yourself to a high standard as you are on your last episode. And it was amazing. I didn't watch it initially, but I was able to go back and watch it. And you done such an amazing job. And shout out to the production crew that's behind it. So thank you all for working with Miss Joy and helping her just give the readout its proper welcome and its proper goodbye. So that's one segment that I wanted to touch on first thing first. Another topic that I wanted to talk about as well is that Kendrick Lamar. We are now today is Tuesday, so Sunday would have made 2 weeks removed from the Super Bowl, and Kendrick still has the algorithm. I didn't have like a YouTube channel at that time, or I really didn't understand how YouTube worked to really upload it. I think I did like one video before, but I didn't understand it. I didn't really get it to where I know now, which is really nothing either. But I think I'm recording more daily and just putting it out. But I had Kendrick the whole time in the battle when like that dropped. My sentiments has been the same. I know Instagram was it, but I was on Facebook rallying for Kendrick. And so I want to kind of double back on my first personal thoughts. I shared a personal thoughts video on my page saying that my thoughts about the Kendrick Lamar halftime show, and I gave Kendrick a 9.8. So within that time, for my first initial reaction, I gave it for my first initial reaction, right? But that's not me going back and watching it for the second time. It was just my first initial reaction for it. And the reason why I gave Kendrick a 9.8 was one, I say I didn't really care for Man in the Garden, but I understood why if we were playing everything off his new GNS album. And but did I really want to hear that at the Super Bowl? No. And I gave him another one for how it was going as far as the show being saying, hey, can we slow it down? So I kind of felt like it was a drag from saying, hey, from him going into the narration, going into Humble and DNA, and then bringing it on down to Scissor. Would you understand it? Because at the time you had to catch the story. You had to catch Samuel L. Jackson narration onto the storyline to catch it to go back down, right? Once again, y'all, I'm sorry, I'm just getting over a cold, but I'm going to leave this in here because it just needs to stay in here, right? But also, there was only $2 that I gave Kendrick. But when I went back and watched it, I gave it out of 10 out of 10. But one thing that I did not explain the first time going into my thoughts about it on my initial reaction was that first, I've been new Kendrick set list. So academics actually leaked the set list to us. So when initially me hearing it, I said, yo, whoever leaked that set, not knowing it was at the time, whoever leaked this is right. This is his set list. So I was pissed off. I was like, I couldn't even get into it to get in tune to understand what was going on. Because I'm sitting here like looking at the set list. I'm looking at it. And I'm watching. I'm sitting saying, "Yo, this is the same set list that they said is right with the songs in order." So I was pissed. So I was kind of like underwhelmed because I wasn't even thinking about like trying to catch everything. It was just so disappointing that somebody really leaked the set list. And it's like at Super Bowl we want to be surprised. Like I think I would have had a better reaction to it had I not known nothing. I think me sitting here watching it, so now I'm watching it. So I'm looking at the set list and I'm watching how he's gonna go into every next song based off what the set list is telling us what we're gonna do. Even though the set list is had that he was gonna fake Not Like Us and then going to Scissor, right? So I knew that was gonna be the case, but we didn't know how it was gonna be played out. And I think that's the part that really pissed me off about that, because you took away our personal experience for the Super Bowl that we have every year because you want to be just like so biased, like just so mean and just so vile. And I like academics. I think he's the number one at what he do. I just think that was wrong letting us not have our own experience with the Super Bowl, regardless if people think it was whack or not. We just did not get our own experience to do it. So I think for me, I was kind of like underwhelmed because I already knew once he started going through bodies and going to the next song, it was the set list. On top of me just trying to understand how he's doing it, how he's narrating it, and going into it. Nonetheless, I went back and watched it again. I mean, I watched it about 20,000 times by now. But I'm saying that going off of it again, after I had to get unmad and set my biases aside and set how I really felt and just focus on the Super Bowl itself, I gave Kendrick a 25 out of 10. Like, because I know Kendrick is a storyteller. He already told us he tells stories. But Kendrick he don't do anything without a storyline. Or even with the pop-out show, it wasn't necessarily like a narrated storyline, but he gave DJ Head, DJ Mustard their own section of the show to lead up to what could be him. You see what I'm saying? So I just think that it was just amazing. It was just amazing. Um, so Kendrick can tell stories, but the pop out was the pop out. You just didn't know who was popping out. And so that was a story within itself. Like, yo, you got Tyler. Yo, you got this person. Yo, Dr. Dre. Whoa, like it's crazy. You see what I'm saying? So Kendrick just giving his own story himself. But I was just so impressed by, let me see, excuse me, y'all. I was so impressed by because Kendrick do things that I'm not. I think that dealing with let me see. But his choreographers are always on point. I just think that